Vietnam today. You're hearing us from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and I'm pleased to introduce you our today's speakers. The first one being Mr. Nguyen, who is a consultant for the IFC World Bank program and has extensive experience in green technologies for the past almost 20 years in different fields. So he will be introducing the current trends and developments in Vietnam and focus on the areas that are interesting for you and what is up to date happening in Vietnam on this sector. Then we have Ms. Eliane van Doorn, who is the Business Development Director for EVBN, which is one of Asia's largest, Asia's largest exhibition companies. So they will host our energy efficiency and renewable energy exhibition as a co-located exhibition from Vietwater by the end of this year, which is also the target of our Green Tech mission for this year. So she will be talking about the exhibition, about what EVBN does and how they can support companies to make them enter the market through the exhibition. And then we have from EVBN side Ms. Nguyen, who is our in-house lawyer, who can take some questions on the legal and regulatory environment here in Vietnam. If she's not able to answer the questions right away, she might get back to you after the call if they are very specific. And then it's me, Jana Ackermann from EVBN, who and I will be talking about the upcoming green mission by the end of the year, which can be interesting for companies from Europe to join. I would take the opportunity to give the word to Mr. T. And would like to, before we start, also invite you to ask questions to make this logistically best. I would recommend to take all questions at the end of the presentation. We allow like 20 minutes Q&A at the very end of all the presentations. Then we gather them and answer them one-on-one. So just feel free to type in questions you might have, and then we will answer them subsequently. Mr. T, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Jana, for your nice introduction. Hello, everyone. This is Nguyen. I would like to make a presentation on the green technology, focused on the business opportunity in Vietnam. So my presentation will have four main points. First one, I will show you the very short legal framework on green technologies in Vietnam. And then I will have a brief introduction about market potential and opportunity on green technology in Vietnam. The next one, I will have some indicate for potential product and service in green technologies in Vietnam. And the last one, some suggestion on suitable market entry strategy to do business in Vietnam in green technology. So first one, I would like to introduce Vietnam at a glance, and I hope that some of you already know Vietnam, but very quick, that Vietnam is located in Southeast Asia, and our population is more than 93 million people in 2014. GDP in 2014 more than 171 billion US dollar, with GDP growth around 5% and inflation rate 4% last year. And now Vietnam has become a lower middle income country already. And very impressive number that you could see in the energy demand in the last 10 years quite high, around 10%, and electricity demand is higher in the 10 years is 14.5%. It's nearly double of the GDP growth. So because of that, the country needs to think about green growth to control the demand of electricity. The next one I will introduce about a legal framework, very general speaking, that you can see. The first one from the country is the National Action Plan on the cleaner production in the industrial sector from 2002. And then we focus on national program on energy efficiency in 2015. The country implemented in 10 years from 2005 until this year 2015 with the target to reduce the energy consumption in the industry. And then in 2009 the country issued the national strategy on cleaner production. And after that, in 2011, the country issued the national strategy on climate change. And in the same year, also the power development master plan, which also regulate and set some target for renewable energy development. And after that, the country issued the national strategy on environmental protection in 2012, and in the same year, green growth strategy. And recently, just last year, the country issued the national action plan on green growth. So the main legal framework related to green technology. And with this legal document, the country have already promoted some green technology, for example, cleaner production, energy efficiency, renewable energy, sustainable consumption and production, climate change adaptation and mitigation, low carbon economy. And the activity to implement the green technology in Vietnam, including capacity building and legal framework development. Secondly, market development, including R&D, technology development, service development, financial market development. And recently, the country also issued the regulation on PPP, public-private partnership, to attract more private investment in infrastructure and especially in green technology. So with above mentioned legal framework, we believe that the country have already created great business opportunity in green technology in Vietnam. Then very quick about the development of legal framework in renewable energy and energy efficiency in Vietnam. From 1999, the country issued a renewable energy action plan, and until last year, the country issued a regulation on supporting mechanism on biomass power and solid waste power generation supporting mechanism. About the environmental service, I mentioned about environmental service including solid waste treatment and recycling, wastewater treatment and recycling, and clean water supply. And the country started with the law on environmental protection, and then we have some decree in solid waste management, some decree to attract more private investment in the environmental service. We also have a national strategy on solid waste management and so on. And also just last year, the National Assembly approved the law on environmental protection revise of the law on environmental protection, and it just become valid at the beginning of the year. So now the countries have issued nearly a new regulation on environmental protection, including environmental impact assessment and some guidance to implement the law on the new environmental protection. To give an overview about the feed-in tariff for renewable energy in Vietnam, we so far we have for renewable energy we define small hydropower with the capacity under 30 megawatt, and then wind power, biomass, municipal solid waste treatment, biogas, solar PV, and geothermal. But so far we only have 4 feed-in tariff for renewable energy. First one is small hydro. We based on the avoided cost tariff structure. And then in 2011, the country issued the feed-in tariff for wind power, and now the country is revising it. The current feed-in tariff is 7.8 US cents per kilowatt hour. Just last year, the feed-in tariff for biomass also issued with the feed-in tariff of 5.8 US cents per kilowatt hour for cogeneration project. For IPP, the Ministry of Industrial and Trade still draft the regulation for the Prime Minister to approve, and it will based on the avoided tariff cost also. For municipal solid waste treatment to power, the feed-in tariff is 7.28 US cents per kilowatt hour for combustion of landfill gas, and the second tariff is 10.05 US cents per kilowatt hour for direct solid waste incineration. So now the country is preparing the regulation on biogas and geothermal, and we believe that the regulation will be issued by the end of the year, together with the revising wind power feed-in tariff. So the country also have some regulation about the incentive in green technology project. So I want to summarize some key incentive. For example, in the project development phase, the import tax is free for the fixed asset which cannot be produced in Vietnam. Or some investment incentive, the investor can get the cheap loan from the local national bank, Vietnam Development Bank, at the cheaper interest rate in comparison with the commercial loan. In operation phase, the corporate income tax is only 10% in comparison with the normal rate of 22 from 2016. The tax rate for 10% is applied for the first 15 years and possible extension to 30 years. And the tax holiday will be first 4 years and then 50% tax reduction for the next 9 years. And some other incentive including land use is free, and also environmental protection fee free for this kind of project. So about the market potential and opportunity, the country is quite rich of renewable energy resources, and potential investment for renewable energy until 2030 is required about 38 billion US dollar, about 50 times installed capacity higher than 2010 in comparison with 2030. So this required capital you will see is highest number in comparison with Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, and other countries in Southeast Asia. So that means the potential investment and also potential business in renewable energy in Vietnam is quite huge. And the next one, I just summarize that some potential renewable energy business including small hydro, biogas, solar energy, wind energy, ocean energy, and municipal solid waste. All of them is very huge potential, but current development just very small number, because you just heard that the feed-in tariff or supporting mechanism just issued recently, just 1 or 2 years before. So the next one I will mention about energy efficiency. Currently, industrial sector account for about 50% of total energy consumption in the country. And for the industry only, just cement and steel sector account already 20% of electricity consumption in industry in Vietnam. And that means the potential improvement of energy consumption in cement and steel are quite so high in Vietnam. One report by ADB and the Ministry of Industrial and Trade surveyed the potential energy saving in industry, so that the potential saving is very high in cement sector with potential saving of 50%, and some other around 20 to 30%. And one report by GS Capital Asia in 2010 showed that the total potential investment in energy efficiency market is around $1 billion US from 2011 to 2015, and it's still the electricity efficiency still need the capital to invest in, because so far the investment in the electricity efficiency is still very limited. So you can see only in the cement sector, the potential electricity generation capacity is over 200 megawatt nationwide, and it is calculated that about 500 million US$ is needed to capture the heat in cement sector to generate the electricity. And also in all industrial sector and commercial sector, the RIAS Capital Asia report showed that the payback period around 3 years to around 5 years for industrial sector, and the commercial sector around normally 6 years payback period. The next one is environmental service. As I mentioned about solid waste recycling, the country need around $2 billion until 2020 to invest in the solid waste management facility. About water supply, the country also need around $6 billion until 2020. And only in Ho Chi Minh City, the investment for the 8 wastewater treatment plant is about $4 billion already. And just yesterday, a news from Ho Chi Minh City that the city proposed around more than $800 million to invest in 4 wastewater treatment plant in Ho Chi Minh City, and they want to borrow the money from ADB. The next one is the potential investment in waste to energy. In waste to energy, the potential capacity is around 200 megawatt, and the potential investment is around $1 billion in Vietnam. And so far, there is no waste to energy project operation in commercial manner in Vietnam yet. And currently, there are some investors showing their interest to invest in solid waste to energy in Ho Chi Minh City. The next one is potential product and service in green technologies. I believe equipment supply in green technology, in wind, in solar, in landfill gas, in biofuel, in biomass, waste to energy, waste heat recovery, energy conservation product, and environmental protection product. I believe huge potential for equipment supply. And together with equipment supply could be the technical service for the developer, the lender, investor, or technology provider, and also industry player on transaction of the project, green technology project in Vietnam. And together with technical issue is the legal issue. Some legal service in negotiation and structure of green technology project development, operation and maintenance of project, some EPC or related issue, and some PPA related issue. And the last one could be the financial service in project funding from project development phase until the operation phase, including the project financing and some other related issues such as carbon credit and some environmental compliance issue. So the last thing, I have some suggestion on suitable market entry strategy. As you may know, comparison to other countries, the feed-in tariff in Vietnam quite low. So and then some country, some developed country, and some other development organization are now supporting the country to develop the legal framework, and also some pilot project and some funding mechanism to green technology in Vietnam. So I think the market entry strategy should be aligned with that kind of support. So I suggest to collaborate with some EU funded or some European country funded project, such as Germany is very active here in Vietnam for renewable energy. France also, Denmark is very active in renewable energy and also energy efficiency. The Netherlands, Switzerland also, Norway also very active in renewable energy. Sweden, and going through the national funded project, I think it's quite convenient for the company from this host country to look for the business opportunity in Vietnam. Secondly, I think a local partner or some local consultant in Vietnam is quite important. So I suggest to collaborate with agencies in the countries such as Eurocharm or EVBN or VCCI to consult the market information and to find suitable local business partner. And the next one, I think having a local business development person or local business development entity for local government relation activity or stakeholder engagement activity is very important for the business from outside Vietnam to understand the market here in Vietnam. And the last one, I think participation in some exhibition or business delegation trip or other type of networking event in Vietnam are also useful for the business or the company from overseas to explore the business potential in Vietnam. So that's all for my presentation, Emma, and thank you, and I'm look forward to having your question about my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. T, for your very interesting presentation. Just mentioning one question we received, the slides will be provided after the session, so you will have the opportunity to go back and then ask questions maybe later on if there are things unclear. Mr. T just finished his presentation talking about exhibitions as a market entry strategy, so that's a perfect handover to Eliane van Doorn talking about the upcoming exhibition in November.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. T, for such a good overview and introduction of all the opportunities in Vietnam. I said I'm Eliane van Doorn. I'm working for UBM, so to start I would like to introduce a little bit more about UBM to all of you. We are a media company actually organizing business events, trade exhibitions in different sectors all over the world. We're listed in London on the stock exchange, but UBM Asia has been around for many, many years, 30 to be exact. And we are the largest event organizer in India, China and Malaysia. In Vietnam we have two offices, one in Hanoi and one in Ho Chi Minh. And we organize different events in different sectors, from food ingredients to livestock, and of course our famous Feed Water event in Hanoi this year. As UBM, we organize the globally renowned renewable energy and energy efficiency series of events. The mother show is in Thailand, just has been in the beginning of June. In India we have another flagship event which is held in September. In Myanmar we're just introducing, and actually we're introducing right now, the energy efficiency and renewable energy event alongside our Feed Water event in November this year. Energy demand, as we heard, actually in Vietnam has an annual growth rate of 15% in the past, and I think is continuing, maybe with a small slowdown, but at the same pace. So I think Vietnam is among the growing number of developing countries actually looking to spur the investment in green innovation and improved efficiency of natural resource use. With our event, we want to actually create awareness and mainly business opportunities in Vietnam. Our job as UBM is to bring experts, buyers and sellers together at our trade events. And the support of government and trade associations is really essential. For this event, we have the support of the Ministry of Industry and Trade. And actually for our Water event, which is here already for quite some time, we not only have the support of the Ministry of Construction, but also the Vietnam Water Supply and Sewerage Association, plus associations from all over Asia, from Singapore to Korea and Australia. As we heard before, the government in Vietnam has recognized the importance of green technology in supplying sustainable energy and actually right now in tackling the climate challenge as well. So for our event this year in November, it's the first time we're introducing renewable energy and energy efficiency alongside our Water event. Our Water event has been booked more or less for 80% right now, and we have 10 international pavilions from Belgium to Hungary to Australia and China. Today, for our specific renewable energy and energy efficiency event, we have some clients booked, such as ABB and General Electric. But what I also would like to mention is that companies like Grundfos, our platinum sponsor for Water, has energy efficiency high on the agenda. And there will be more companies actually in our event that will focus on energy efficiency and renewable energy. An exhibition is an exhibition, but we always try to do a little bit more than just an exhibition. We will have companies doing technical presentations, but we also want to provide more content. Hence, we're very happy with the support of the EU, bringing some content to the event, not only content but also a mission from Europe. We're talking to different countries. We have group visits from many countries planned, so that will actually enhance the business-to-business matching as well. And we're doing this year again an exciting water photo competition. So I would say come and see and find out for yourself. Water attracts some 10,000 attendees, so this year we're also expecting that. Our shows are alternating between Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh, so this year we're in Hanoi and next year we're going back to Ho Chi Minh again. So with that, I think thank you very much and hope to see all of you in Hanoi in November. So I would like to hand over actually to Jana to actually explain a little bit more about the mission and the opportunities for European companies to our trade show.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I think that paves the ground for what I'm going to talk about in the last 10 minutes of the webinar before the Q&A. First of all, let me briefly talk about EVBN, who we are, because you are obviously all joining our webinar today. So let us just briefly go through what EVBN is. EVBN stands for EU-Vietnam Business Network, which was founded in the end of 2013 by the EU Commission. It is an EU co-funded project and will run for a total period of 5 years. Our main objective is to help EU companies come to Vietnam and help to support the companies with market entry, with developing their business, with getting around the regulatory challenges in the country, so to really foster the ties between the EU and Vietnam and ASEAN after all. As I already mentioned, it's the EU-Vietnam Business Network, but we have partner programs in many of the other ASEAN countries around us. So we have colleagues in Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos and Thailand. So that just underlines the importance of this part of the world and also the importance the EU is placing on fostering ties with ASEAN. Pictures always work, so you know who you work with. That's our team. We are a team of currently 9 permanent staff and trainees that support us with our missions. You have, if you are interested in getting further information or support, please feel free to contact us and we get back to you on the different aspects of your question. As already mentioned, we have an in-house lawyer that's always interesting to talk to if you plan to come to Vietnam. We can support guidance on events we do and of course on our mission, which will come up very shortly. So the mission, which was already introduced a couple of times, will take place from November 23rd to November 27th, and it will go to Hanoi this year because, as Eliane already mentioned, it will be coupled with the energy efficiency and renewable energy exhibition, which is a co-located exhibition of Viet Water. So what EVBN can offer you is a trade mission that takes you to Hanoi, and we will organize tailor-made B2B meetings with potential partners for you, meaning that beforehand, prior to the mission, we will gather your feedback and your interest of whom you want to meet, of specifically who are the interesting players for you, and then we will take care of the B2B agendas for you. And you will then have the opportunity to meet these partners on the exhibition. So there's no need for you to do everything of that extensive and very complicated work yourself, but we will then support you in there and guide the partners to your booth on the mission. Talking about the booth, we will have an EU pavilion on this mission, on the energy efficiency and renewable energy exhibition. The European pavilion will then host 15 companies in total from Europe to be on one umbrella and gather all, let's say, European companies and knowledge under this one pavilion where you will have a stand. Other things that are included in our offer are food and beverage during the exhibition, an interpreter or like a translator for all the meetings you will have. So you will have a personal translator, if you will, to guide you through the meetings, because we believe that is very important to avoid any misunderstandings and to really have one that is with you all the time to understand the requirements and also your products at the end of the day. Accommodation in a nice 4 or 5 star hotel is included, and we will start with an information session with key experts on that field that you will meet and you will have access to ask questions prior to the start of the exhibition. We will also provide some networking opportunities, obviously, where you can meet European players but also Vietnamese players and exchange during the day. Let's just briefly get back to an event or a mission we already had in January, so you can testify that we've already done something similar and which was very successful. It was in a very different sector, which was agro-food, so I'm not going to go into details, but we basically followed the same format. We brought 15 companies from Europe to Vietnam, selected them in a process just like we will do for this mission, and brought them to Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City to meet business partners, have tailor-made agendas, and had 3 full days of meetings, which was very intense, but in the end very successful. We already received some good feedback and companies who did enter the market already following the mission in January. And with that, I think I can already open the Q&A session. Let me just briefly remind you to fill in the survey after the webinar, which will be available after the session is finished. It would be very appreciated if you could fill in the survey. I'm just getting one comment from the audience here. On the Viet Water exhibition and the energy efficiency, renewable energy exhibition, there will also be national pavilions. So if you are among those countries which hosts a national pavilion, we of course open the opportunity to also look at the offers from your host countries. It is at current stage, I know it changed a little bit, but at current stage it's France, Hungary, Sweden, Germany, Denmark, okay, that doesn't matter, and Finland, who have national pavilions. So again, please contact us on that if you are interested in that kind of, or if you're interested in coming, first of all, then we will guide you to the most suitable offer and provide more information respectively. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll open the stage for questions. I think we had one coming already before the session started, which was already partially addressed, but I'm happy to ask it again. How do you address the fears of investors to come into the market because the electricity rates are still so low, or the feed-in tariffs are still so low? That was a general question we got, and I think Mr. T would be the best to answer that one. Mr. T.
Yeah, thank you for the question. The low electricity tariff, yeah, how to do the business here. Actually, to the potential renewable energy resources in Vietnam is quite high, and currently the feed-in tariff is quite low in comparison with other countries in the region. But currently the countries is now increasing, is now revising with the orientation to increase the feed-in tariff. And you can see the feed-in tariff, the highest feed-in tariff in renewable energy here is in waste to energy with 10.05 US cent per kilowatt hour. And for waste to energy, you can see not only the income coming from the electricity produced, but also the tipping fee. That means coming from the solid waste treatment service. So the income stream, the revenue stream, not only rely on the feed-in tariff, but also the income coming from the tipping fee for solid waste management. And for wind power, for example, we are expected that the new feed-in tariff around 10 to 12 US cent per kilowatt hour. And because as I mentioned, the wind resources are quite high, so for around 10 to 12 US cent per kilowatt hour and the high wind resources, we believe that the project already attractive to the investor. And other sector like biomass and solar, the country is now trying to get the attractive rate to attract more private investment. So I hope that all for my explanation and respond to the question.
In fact, we have another one based on that, which is just saying how can avoid cost tariff calculation, which I think was in your presentation. If you can explain that further.
avoided cost tariff is because the countries is now rely mostly on the coal-fired thermal power. So if we produce the electricity from, for example, hydropower, that means we avoid to use the coal from thermal power. So that means we calculate the cost to produce the electricity from coal-fired. For example, we calculate it around 7 US cents per kilowatt hour, and that 7 US cents will be applied for the hydropower tariff, because we avoid to produce the electricity from coal thermal power.
Okay, if I hope that's clear. It's hard to get feedback of such device, but if not, please ask us later on, and then we'll get back to you. One more question we have is if there are any incentives for the storage of, for example, batteries.
So far, we don't have any incentive for that.
Okay, that's a clear answer. We have one question for Eliane. If there are any information available on how many people you expect to attract to the exhibition, and maybe you can even share if you have some split per region or from where they are.
Actually, last year's event attracted over 10,000 industry professionals from 38 countries. We had 365 exhibitors from 35 countries. This year we expect at least 380 exhibiting companies, and the attendees or the industry professionals should be around 10,000 or more as well. Again, this is a trade event, it's industry professionals only, it's not a consumer event. Hope that answers the question.
Okay, thank you very much. Let us just check if we have any more questions. Okay, then I'll close the session. Thank everybody for listening in today. Hope you found that informative and instructive, and would like to remind those of you who dial in from Europe again that we would be happy to welcome you all here for the Green Mission. Of course, if you're selected as one of the companies to that mission. You have our contact details, so please feel free to contact us in case you need more information, and then we'll guide you respectively to the answers. Yes, once more, please fill in the survey. It doesn't take long, but it will definitely help us to have your feedback for further sessions and reviews. Okay, with that, thank you from Ho Chi Minh City. Thanks again to the speakers. That was a very nice afternoon for us, and thanks for sharing your presentations to the audience.
Thanks
a lot.
Thank
you.
Bye-bye.